Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Marina, I'm Russian, and today we are going to be talking about Russian names. Well, any Russian person usually has a name that consists of three parts: family name, first name, and Otchestvo. Otchestvo is a name that comes from your father's name. It's not exactly a father's name that you just put after your first name. It is modified a little bit, but it stems from the name of your father. So, okay, let's discuss everything from the beginning. So, let's start with family name. Now, here everything is pretty much simple. Only one thing that you have to bear in mind is that if the family name is a female family name, then you will have an A sound at the end. It would have an extra letter, A, and it will have this extra sound. For example, Ivanov is a male family name. The same family name, but for the female, will sound Ivanova. Okay, so Kuznetsov, a male family name, Kuznetsova, a female family name. So that's how it works. But here you have to understand that when you come to Russia, you might find Russian people who actually have other nationalities. And for example, my dad is 100% Ukrainian, and he has a Ukrainian family name. So before I got married and I took my husband's family name, I had an Ukrainian family name. And for Ukrainian family names, this rule with the extra A sound at the end doesn't work. They have different rules. So you must understand that in Russia you might encounter, like, you might meet different people with different nationalities. Okay, well, that's it for the family name. Let's move on further to the first name. Here the situation is a little bit more confusing. Well, the thing is that every full name, first name, has a little short name that people actually using more than the full name. For example, Aleksandr is a full name, but nobody will call him Aleksandr in everyday life. Alexander would be called Sasha. And usually, well, actually, it's a name that is both male and female. We have Alexander, we have Alexandra, a female version, but both of them, male and female, will still be called Sasha. Um, so each name has a short version, sort of like an informal version. um, and it's not always shorter than the name itself. For example, name Olga is already short, but it has this informal name Oля. Or a name Yulia. Yulia is the Russian version of Julia. Yulia also has this informal version, Yulia. So, yeah, well, here you might think that that's not much of a problem if you simply remember that for a specific long name you will have a short name. But the problem is that Russians might have different informal names for one um, full name. For example, name George is in Russian it is Georgi, but the short versions are Gosha, Goga, Yegor, and sometimes even Yuri, and all of those are used for Georgi. Or, for example, the name Alexander that we were talking about before, we might call Alexander Sasha, Sanya, Sanyok, and sometimes Shura. So Like, it's okay if you know that Aleksandr is Sasha, but if somebody comes in and says, "Oh, hi, Shura," and you're like, "Shura? Why Shura?" Like, it doesn't even it doesn't even resemble the full name sometimes. So that's one thing that is confusing for the foreigners. One more thing about the first name, about the first names that is also confusing is that sometimes Russian people are trying to express their attitude towards a person or express their mood through the names. So instead of saying Sasha, we can say Sashinka. Instead of saying Maria, who'll have a short name Masha, but instead of saying Masha, we can say Mashinka, or we can say Mashulia. uh, why? Why is it happening? Well, we are saying the name in a tender way, and it changes. So, like with my name is Marina, but my parents and my husband and my friends, they do not call me Marina. They usually call me Marishka, um, Marinka, Marinочка. So that all of these are sort of, like a tender way of calling a person. But if somebody calls you in a tender way, it doesn't mean that a person loves you, have some deep feelings towards you. No, it simply means that the person is positive towards you. Has some positive feelings, or is happy, or something is like, treats you well, treats you like a friend. Stuff like that. But at the same time, we also have a way to say a name in a rude way. So instead of saying Masha, we will say Mashka. Instead of saying um, Misha, Misha is the short for Michael. So instead of saying Misha, we will say Mishka, and this will be rude. So you see more confusing stuff in Russian language. Um, okay, let's move on further. Let's stop discussing the first names anymore. um, then we have the third part of the name left. Otchestvo. Well, Otchestvo, as I told you before, it's a name that derives from your father's name. So, for example, if your father is Michael, in Russia that is Mikhail, you will have Otchestvo Mikhailovich. And if you're a woman, you will be Mikhailovna. So, that's how it is. For example, your name is Maria and your father's name is Michael. Then your name will be Maria Mikhailovna. And if you're a man and your name is Michael and your father's name is Michael, then you will have a name Mikhail Mikhailovich. So Mikhailovna and Mikhailovich. That's what's going on with this Otchestvo. Now, here I have to say that usually Russian people do not use Mr. and Mrs. when they are communicating with each other. Instead of this, we are saying first name together with Otchestvo. So whenever you're talking with a person who is older than you, or a person who is your boss, or who is your colleague, or maybe your doctor or teacher, or somebody who has more higher status than you have, or somebody who you treat with respect, it might be your parents-in-law, for example, right? In this case, you will have to use the first name and Otchestvo. That's how it works. We don't say Mr. Ivanov. We do have a word that means the same as Mr. And this word is господин Ivanov, or for the woman, госпожа Ivanova. But the thing is that in real life, we do not use this. Maybe somewhere when you come to the bank or some official place, somebody will call you Mr. Ivanov or Mrs. Ivanova. But usually in everyday life, we don't use that. And one of the reasons, especially for the women, is that this word госпожа also has another meaning. It means mistress. So it kind of sounds weird for the Russian ear to hear somebody saying госпожа Ivanova. So don't do this if you ever gonna visit Russia. Don't use this госпожа or господин. We don't use that much. Um, what else is there to say? that in everyday life we usually use first names, and in case we want to show respect, we're using first name together with Otchestvo. So that's how it works. As for family names, they are rarely used, maybe somewhere like in schools or in colleges. When a teacher is calling you, he might call you out by your family name and your first name. So, I mean, that's how it goes. Well, I hope the information today was useful. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and see you later in my following videos. Bye.